Hey guys, how's it going? Tyson from Ox Strength. आजको भिडियोमा we're going to be talking about equipment used while lifting. This is like a really common questions that I get and most of our coaches get. So in this video, I'm going to be talking in depth about all the fitness accessories, equipment that you need in order to work out and do your accessory lifts, any squat, bench press, deadlift, running, whatever your goals are. We'll literally talk about everything and we'll have the timestamps in the description below, so for whatever you're here, you can find something for yourself, and then let's see how this goes. Alright, so as I say, we'll talk about all the accessories and we'll talk about something that's the best regardless of budget or not. Break it down into a few pieces. We'll talk about one equipment for, let's say, running, and यसमा सबभन्दा बेस्ट चाहिँ के हो, अनि यसमा काम चलाऊ अथवा best entry level product चाहिँ के हो, because these stuffs could really add up and it could get really expensive quite fast. So सबैले सबै कुरा किन्नु पर्छ भन्ने छैन, but we'll break it down, and then यो भिडियो हेरेर चाहिँ तपाईले आफ्नोलाई डिसिजन लिन सक्नुहुन्छ कि which one could be important for you. So जिम जाँदाखेरि सबभन्दा मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेन्ट इक्विपमेन्ट हामीलाई चाहिने भनेको चाहिँ फुटवेयर हो, अनि this is something again I see so many times people doing it wrong, because different लिफ्ट्सलाई अथवा डिफ्रेन्ट मुभमेन्ट अथवा डिफ्रेन्ट टाइप अफ एक्सरसाइज गर्दाखेरि हल्का डिफ्रेन्ट फुटवेयर चाहिन सक्छ. सो विल टक अबाउट फुटवेयर फर्स्ट एन्ड देन विल मुभ अन. अलराइट, सो पावर लिफ्टिङ पर्पजको लागि होइन, जस्ट गोइङ इन्टु द जिम, most of the time what we see is people wearing shoes such as this one, running shoes ho yo chai generally, and this is, unless you're going to the gym for running, this is the absolute worst choice that you can make when you're going to the gym to do some lifting training. And यो चाहिँ is the most common one, because sport shoes भन्छ हामीले, अनि सबैजनाले नै sport shoes भनेर sport shoes यो running shoes लगाउँछ. अनि जिममा गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ because हाम्रो बडीमा we need some stability as well, अनि यसमा चाहिँ यो गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ lateral movement-हरु, forward backward-हरु धेरै हुने कारणले चाहिँ it could cause more harm than good. So I would recommend that you stay away from running shoes unless you're a runner and you're going to the gym for running. अब basic मोबिलिटीहरु गर्नु अथवा very light training मसिनमा अलिअलि गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ this does not, यसले त्यस्तो negative impact गर्दैन. But when we're talking about big compound movements, squat, bench press, not bench press necessarily, the squat, deadlift अथवा anything that you're doing standing up, I would try and stay away from these shoes. But again, like I said, running over it's fine. For most people, what I would recommend is, depending about warm up गर्नु हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ maybe you could use running shoes, अनि यसपछि when you're training workoutहरु गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ Vans, Converse यो गर्यो भने चाहिँ you have a bigger base. त्यो भएपछि चाहिँ you have more stability. So if you can carry two shoes, it's a good idea that you can do that. Second, better, यो भन्दा एक step better चाहिँ यो shoes भयो. So यो चाहिँ training shoes हो. So this is made specifically for training. As you can see, the sole is flatter. यसमा चाहिँ more like a curve खालके छ. This is a bit flatter, अनि यसको heel base पनि wider छ. So मैले पनि start out गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ यस्तो जुत्ताबाट गर्थे. So यसमा चाहिँ सबै गर्न मिल्छ, but this is one step higher. So if you're sort of like lifting weight and also doing some amount of cardio, these shoes are really good. And obviously the absolute best shoes would be like something like a Reebok Nano or Nike Metcon. So यसमा चाहिँ it's a combination of both running and lifting दुईटै गर्न मिल्ने shoes चाहिँ यो हुन्छ. अनि यसमा ग्रिपहरु पनि अब तपाईलाई डिफरेन्ट मुभमेन्ट्सको लागि गर्दाखेरि lateral support को लागि यस्तो ग्रिप हुन्छ, माथि अगाडि पछाडीको लागि यो सपोर्ट हुन्छ, and it's quite solid. अनि यसमा medium distance runningहरु पनि गर्न सकिन्छ. So footwear, something that we really need to take in consideration about. And this one's the same as well. So your duita चाहिँ I would say are very good gym shoes if you're doing a bit of both running and cardiovascular stuff. Alright, continuing with हाम्रो shoes. So again I mentioned गरे जस्तै, if you're going to be squatting, running shoes are absolute no. Even if you're squatting 60 kgs, 50 kgs, it's better that you squat barefoot than you're squatting with running shoes. But barefoot गर्दा चाहिँ sometimes के हुन्छ भने you could run the risk of hitting something at the gym and you could get hurt. So I would stay away from squatting barefoot, especially in a gym environment. त्यसपछि the second best would be something like a Reebok Nano. Like यसले चाहिँ सबै all round भइरा हुन्छ, सबै गर्छ. And other thing for squatting, like एकदमै commonly used even in the powerlifting scene, is something like a Vans or even Converse, because यसमा चाहिँ के हुन्छ भने it's really low to the ground, the sole is pretty hard, and it's flat. So यस्तो roll हुने, यस्तो sideways rock हुने chances less हुन्छ. So if you're on a budget, I would recommend something like a Vans, or use your old shoes, or even Converse. And obviously if you've bought these are excellent shoes to get started with. यसपछि चाहिँ more specific squat shoesहरुतिर हामी लाग्छौं है. So यो तीनटा different shoes छ. So this is like a Olympic lifting shoe, this is a powerlifting shoes, and these are deadlift shoes. So यो जुत्तामा चाहिँ main advantage के छ over let's say Nike or a Reebok Nano. So let's start with this. यसमा चाहिँ अब first thing, this is really hard. यो ढुङ्गा त नभनौं, काठ जस्तै कडा छ, and this will allow you to stay firmly to the ground so that you have very good support off the ground. Second, यसमा lateral support छ जुन चाहिँ यो दुईटा जुत्तामा छैन. So हामीले squat गर्दाखेरि when we're screwing our feet outside, यो गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ यो lateral support ले चाहिँ यो heel बाट तपाई बाहिर निस्किनुबाट यसले prevent गर्छ. Obviously यता पनि यहाँनिर पनि तपाईले heel मा पनि support देख्नुहुन्छ. So this is also very hard हेर्नु, एकदमै solid छ. So यो भएपछि it will help keep your feet inside. So यदि तपाईले अब यस्तो जुत्ताहरुमा गर्यो भने चाहिँ यहाँ heel मा त्यति support देख्दैन नि त. So यो भयो भने चाहिँ तपाईको feet यहाँबाट spin out हुन्छ कसरी, and then यो flat surface हुँदैन है. So this is the main advantage of shoes with the strap. So यो तीनटा जुत्तामा तपाईले देख्न सक्नुहुन्छ strap छ. So यो तीनटा जुत्तामा major difference भनेको चाहिँ यो heel height को बारेमा हो. So यसमा चाहिँ 0.75 inches heel हुन्छ. अब यो भन्दा higher पनि पाउँछ, but यसमा चाहिँ I wouldn't recommend because त्यो चाहिँ अलिक too much जस्तो लाग्छ in my personal opinion. So this is the highest I would go with, and this is something that I use. So heel भयो भने चाहिँ the major advantage is ankle mobility. So तपाईले your knees can travel through a greater range of motion if you are using a heel shoe. तर generally powerlifting मा चाहिँ flatter shoe लाई नै better भनिने गर्छ, because if you're wearing shoes with an elevated heel, so more knee extension demands लाग्छ. So तपाईको quad को strength more लाग्छ. So generally if you can, it's better that you squat with flat shoes so you can use hip and knee extension both properly. And I would recommend something like a Sabo deadlift ho shoes, but this is like a really good shoe because like I said, it's hard, solid, firmly to the ground, and सानो मात्रै raised heel छ, and like we talked about, there is lateral support. तल पनि hard छ, अनि यसले तपाईलाई laterally move हुन सक्दैन. But again, अब दुईटाको बिचमा पनि त जुत्ता चाहिन्छ भने चाहिँ Adi Powerlifts are really good shoes. So यसमा heel drop 0.75, यसमा 5. अब यो चाहिँ almost flat भनौं, यसमा 3 mm हो कि कति मात्रै heel drop छ. But so you can choose depending on how good your ankle mobility is. हामीले ankle mobility को लागि पनि भिडियोहरु गर्छौं in the future. We've already shot it, तर निकालेको चाहिँ छैन. But if you're in our private Facebook group, which you can be by becoming our client, त्यहाँनिर चाहिँ हामीले राम्रो ankle mobility check गर्नुलाई भिडियो राखेको छ. So if you're interested in coaching, now is the time to be a part of हाम्रो team. So yeah, I hope you get the context. All of these shoes are really good, but if I had to choose one favorite shoe, it would either be this or this. Sorry, I just कि त flat कि त like heel चाहियो भने चाहिँ I would go all in. Alright, moving on to the deadlifts. Of deadlift मा पनि the main objective when we're doing the deadlift is we want to be as close to the ground as possible, right? So that's the number one agenda whenever we're doing a deadlift, because you have to move the bar through a shorter range of motion. So that's the main thing. Running shoes गर्यो भने again lateral movement धेरै हुन्छ, heel पनि एकदमै धेरै हुन्छ. So it's not the best shoe because it's also increasing the range of motion. Also, it's creating an uneven surface by which power output efficient hundaina. So deadlift garदाखेरि I think this is going to be last. This, if you have a CrossFit Nano or a Reebok Metcon, it's still a decent shoe. You can still deadlift in it because it's not त्यस्तो wobbly issue हुँदैन, अनि the heel is relatively lower in comparison to deadlift shoes. तर deadlift गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ barefoot पनि गरिरा हुन्छ. Again, barefoot गर्दा चाहिँ problem के हुन सक्छ भने you might hit your feet with the barbell, अनि gym मा ठोकिने यताउति प्रब्लमहरु भइरा हुन्छ. So again, like I said, I wouldn't recommend squatting a deadlifting with barefoot. त्यसपछि most common ones, Vans, Converse, and even Jordans, especially जसले भन्यो चाहिँ. So this is a budget option and it's really good because like we talked about, similar to the CrossFit Nano, it has a flat sole and it's slightly lower to the ground as well. So this could be an option. I've personally never used Jordans when squatting or deadlifting, but many lifters use it. So I would say it would still be less efficient than using proper shoes for deadlifting, but it's still a viable option. Ani Vans, Converse, about the same category, really good. तर one problem what I feel about using even big shoes भनौँ न, because यो जुत्तामा unnecessary space धेरै हुन्छ नि त. So let's say यो दुईटा जुत्ता same size हो भने पनि this is a bit taller because यसमा चाहियो नि त support, lateral यतातिर support चाहियो. So यो गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ for me personally when I try to squat deadlift with these, because these are really low to the ground, मैले मेरो खुट्टा अप्टिमली बारको एन्डसम्म राख्न सक्दिनँ क्या. सो मेरो यस्तो जुत्ता छ सानोवाला. सो इट फिल्स लाइक अ स्मलर सू इन जेनरल. सो आई क्यान गेट क्लोजर टु द बार्बल. सो द्याट्स जस्ट अ लिटल एडभान्टेज आई कुड ह्याभ. बट अघि नै हामीले स्क्वाटमा कुरा गरे जस्तै डेडलिफ्टमा दिस प्रोभाइड्स अ बिट अफ अ lateral support as well, because we're wedging our feet out, especially when we're doing the sumo deadlift. So it provides a bit of a lateral support. Ani sumo deadlift garda grip is also sort of important, because we tend to slip away from the at the floor. So यसमा पनि grip हुन्छ, specifically made in order to stop the lateral forces. यता तपाईले देख्न सक्नुहुन्छ. So these shoes are really good. But अहिले हामीसँग यहाँनिर notorious lift अनि अरु जुत्ताहरु छैन, like deadlift slippers हरु पनि धेरैले युज गर्छ. So in my opinion, for me these are the best shoes, because this I feel is the closest to the ground, even more than the notorious lift. तर यसमा चाहिँ सानो disadvantage के हुन्छ, the old saboमा चाहिँ the grip isn't as good. So if you are struggling with like grip issues on the deadlift, so I would probably go with these, or probably even notorious lift. But then notorious lift ma चाहिँ फेरि there isn't as much lateral support in comparison to what these shoes are offering. So there's a fine line. So for me personally, I would stick with these, but I have other guys, friends at the gym who swear by notorious is way superior. But then it's like I said, if you're more into grip than lateral support, then notorious is the way to go. And if you like more lateral support than the little bit of decreased grip, then these are the absolute best shoes. Yo duita juttama चाहिँ this one's lower to the ground, this one's got more support. So it's your call at the end of the day. Alright, once that shoes are covered, shoes being the most important equipment or accessory that you wear to the gym, because you have to wear it to the gym, Nita. So that has to be the number one priority. So I would say start building your shoe collection slowly over time, depending on how much you need it. But if you're a competitive powerlifter, then maybe you want to invest more on deadlift and squatting shoes. But in general, good training shoes is good enough. त्यसपछि second most important thing at the gym whenever we're training is gym belts. And यसमा चाहिँ अब mixed debate छ. Some people believe that belt use गर्नु राम्रो हैन, नराम्रो हैन. And for me, I'm a firm believer that belt use गर्नु पनि is a skill, but you have to be able to still create a good abdominal pressure without the use of a belt. So तपाईं अब एउटा certain level जब तपाईहरुको ट्रेनरले भन्नुहुन्छ, then you can use a belt, then it's a time to invest in a very good powerlifting belt. So if सुरुमा नै भनिदिन्छु, if budget isn't of a concern and you're gonna do powerlifting and you plan on doing powerlifting for a long period of time, SBD belt is the best belt easily, like by far the best belt, but it costs a lot, right? So obviously सबैजनालाई it might not make sense to buy a expensive SBD belt, but this is the best belt money can buy, period. So let's keep this out of the way. So if you want to be a powerlifter and you want to continue powerlifting for the next 5-10 years, buy this belt. But if you are a hobbyist, then we have other options. So generally नेपालमा चाहिँ what I see is the सानो भ्याल्यु वाला बेल्ट लगाउँछ नि धेरै जनाले, which has like a really small अगाडि पेटतिर चाहिँ अलिकति सानो हुन्छ नि त. So that belt is pretty much, I would say, useless, because हाम्रो main abdominal मा pressure create lower back support भन्दा पनि lower back support हो, तर it comes through bracing at the core नि त. So यो brace गर्ने कुरा चाहिँ बेल्टले प्रोभाइड गर्छ. सो अगाडिको पार्टमा पनि बेल्ट ठिक भयो भने अथवा इक्वल छ भने चाहिँ देन इट प्रोभाइड्स सपोर्ट. सो लोवर ब्याकमा टुङ्गुङ्ग राखेर चाहिँ इट्स नट गोना प्रोभाइड यु एनी सपोर्ट एन्ड इट्स प्रिटी मच अ वेस्ट अफ मनी, आई वुड से. सो बेसिक जेनरल बेल्ट अब यस्तो बेल्टहरू हुन्छ. सो यसमा पनि याद गर्नुहोस् अगाडिको पार्टमा पनि देयर इज स्टिल सम स्पेस फर यु टु brace. So whenever you're choosing a belt, you don't have to buy these exact brands, but whenever you're choosing a belt, if it's of this quality, like neoprene खालके quality छ भने चाहिँ make sure that अगाडि पनि there is support. Back मा चाहिँ एकदम धेरै राख्छ. I don't know, for some reason it's sort of like a gimmick because lower back support गर्नलाई ब्याकमा धेरै but हाम्रो main pressure आउने चाहिँ यो core region बाट हो नि त so this is like whenever you're choosing a belt make sure that it's thick. Arco option so this is from Grit and Glory, so we also sell these at Ox Strength. So this is a really good belt in terms of price and value. So this is a 4 inches wide belt with 10 mm 10 mm thickness भएको belt. So powerlifting ma maximum legal is 13. So if you're in the market for a 10 mm belt, this is like a really good brand. And यसकै same हो यो पनि, but this is a branded one. So this is from Iron Tanks, this is from Grit and Glory, but this costs twice as much and it's not like 2 times better than this belt. So 10 mm चाहिँ sometimes beginner अथवा धेरै एडभान्सहरुले पनि युज गर्नुहुन्छ like 10 mm belt, but introduction गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ 10 mm belt is a really good option because when we wear belt such as this one, it really hurts. हुन्छ नि सुरुमा एकदमै यता च्याप्ने अनि if you are not of an advanced size or strength, then it could hurt you more than it does good. So I would generally, if you've never worn a 13 mm belt, I would advise you that you start from a 10 mm belt and see for yourself. If you feel like this belt is providing you excellent support and then you've used it for a few years, then you can slowly move up the ladder. So अब powerlifting को लागि यो belt भयो, but we also see a lot of buckle belt. So यस्तो lever beltहरु पनि हुन्छ and these belts are really good. So SBD पछि I think the second best would be Iron Tanks and Pioneer because they're pretty much the exact same belt. But then यस्तो belt पनि हुन्छ, तर यो lever belt को चाहिँ problem के हुन जान्छ भने over time that हाम्रो waist size change भइराख्छ नि त from day to day, अलिअलि fluctuations हुन्छ and यो belt ले चाहिँ यो screwdriver गरेर निकाल्नु पर्छ. So this is not a really smart choice. अब powerlifting गर्दाखेरि पहिला when I got this belt, this was the only option. SBD पाउँदैन थियो त्यो बेला, so this was the best belt at the time. SBD को एउटा side effects है, like यसमा चाहिँ what do you say, अलिकति धेरै नै ठुलो छ के spacing. So especially for me because I'm eating so much food, 3000-4000 calories every day, and like पेट अलिअलि ठुलो सानो भइराख्दाखेरि चाहिँ sometimes this 1 inch increment धेरै टाइट भइदिने कि त धेरै लुज भइदिने. So यो गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ this is a small disadvantage for the SBD belt which can be covered with Pioneer मा छ, every half an inch मा उनीहरुको lever छ. So that's a little advantage you could say over the SBD belt. So yeah, I think we've covered everything for belt. We'll move on now. Right, once belt and good shoes are done, it's pretty much 95% of what most people need because we still have to be able to move without the help of these accessories in हाम्रो training ma. But I think after a good belt and a good shoes, then I would move on to wrist straps because this is also quite important for many movements. Basically pressing movements or squat गर्दाखेरि this is like a really important tool. अब हामीसँग off brand वाला wrist straps, we don't have it at the gym currently, but we'll have a video of it, and that also does good. But the only problem I see with off brand wrist straps is that this velcro runs out really fast. So maybe within like 4, 5, 6 months these यो निस्किहाल्छ, and that's the biggest problem. And if you consider the cost of a good pair of powerlifting wrist straps, this has lasted कति 4 वर्ष भइसक्यो and it still feels like it's sort of new and it can go for another 4 जस्तो feel हुन्छ. So if you add the cost and if you're gonna be lifting for a long period of time, more than let's say 2 or 3 years, then I would save up some money before buying wrist straps because this is gonna last you a long time. But in general काम चाहिँ pretty much same हो. अब यसमा अलिकति materialहरु thicker हुन्छ and this is more durable like I said. But I think off brand भन्दा एकैचोटी if you go into the bigger brands, it's actually better. But then generally अब gym मा भर्खरै try out गर्नु चाहिँ if it's worth it, if it helps me भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ lots of brands available in the market. We don't sell them, but मैले पहिला इन्डियाबाट कोबो भन्ने ब्रान्डको युज गर्थेँ and that was pretty good. अनि त्यसपछि त्यो बिचतिरको like कतिवटा ब्रान्ड्सहरु हुन्छ नि, it's not really that good, so it's just more expensive. So just get the cheapest one if you're in for it. Ani or if you think it's very important, then you should move on to good powerlifting wrist strap because that's how it's going to help you the most. And when you really crank it up, त्यो पुरानो स्ट्र्यापहरु च्यात्तिने पनि डर हुन्छ. But if you feel like this is good enough, then these are the best. But for me personally, I feel like यसमा नि अलिकति strength पुग्दैन, especially when squatting really heavy weight. So I use 1 meter one. So this is the maximum legal length of a wrist strap. So wrist straps not खासै केही पनि छैन, but the main function is that your wrist bend हुँदाखेरि पनि it doesn't cause stress on your joints. So that's the only purpose of a wrist strap. So yeah, let's move on. All right, moving on. These are really just accessories. You don't need them. Like even people who've trained for 10 years, 15 years, you don't need it. It's only a competitive tool. Knee wraps, knee sleeves, these are really competitive tools. But maybe if you want to lift more weight, sometimes it could be beneficial. And some of us like just a feeling of warmth in our knees. So these are a viable option. But just accessories, you don't need them. You can build a lot of muscle and strength without ever using knee wraps or wrist straps. So knee wraps चाहिँ अब mostly अब powerlifting मा नेपालमा अहिलेसम्म जति पनि competition भएको छ knee wraps मा भइरा हुन्छ. So I see a lot of people using knee wraps at the gym. So knee wrap को main idea भनेको चाहिँ it's providing like an extra layer of muscle behind your knees. So यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ it helps you rebound the weight from the hardest part of the lift where हामी naturally weakest हुन्छ, leverage हाम्रो weakest हुन्छ. So त्यो पार्टमा चाहिँ यसले एक्स्ट्रा मसलको शीट जस्तो काम गरेर चाहिँ यसले off the whole pop गर्नु हेल्प गर्छ. So it helps a ton. It really helps a ton. I would say anywhere from 15 to 50 kgs नै knee wraps you could get out of it from a really good pair of knee wraps. So this is from Slingshot. So these were named the world record knee wraps or something, and I bought this a long time back, and it's really good. Off-brand knee wraps it does the job really well. अब fitness stores मा जानुभयो भने तपाईले देख्नुहुन्छ knee wraps help गर्छ त्यसले. But then the main purpose, like I said, is how much of the sheet is behind your knees that make a difference. On your wrist strap knee wrap चाहिँ अब if you're not competing or competitive, leg press गर्दा, lunges गर्दा चाहिँ I would just stay away from the knee wraps. So if you're a competitive powerlifter, I would say Slingshot ones are really good. Best knee wraps, I will just keep it here because I forgot the name of the knee wrap. But this is, I think, हाम्रो experience with talking to other people and हाम्रो आफ्नो experience this knee wrap is the best knee wrap which Aditya uses. So if you want to get into a market and spend a lot of money on knee wraps, that would be a wise move. So this is not a powerlifting knee sleeve, so more like a weightlifting or a general gym गर्ने knee sleeve. So यसको function चाहिँ अब just to keep your knees warm and अलिकति त्यो comfort feel हुन्छ, especially when your knees are warm and it feels loose हैन. So यस्तो कुनै पनि knee wrapले it just does the job. But अब यसको function चाहिँ खासै त्यो हुँदैन. But if you really want performance out of your squatting, then all of these are pretty much useless भन्छु म, and we would directly move into the SBD knee sleeve. पहिला चाहिँ this were the best knee sleeve that is available in the market for me. Even now it is, but अहिले चाहिँ Titan को पनि knee sleeve छ. अब यसले पनि it performs very similar fashion like how a knee wrap would perform. So यसको पनि main काम भनेको it helps your quads because we're squatting raw. Quads मा माथि अनि knee को पछाडि अघि हामीले कुरा गरे जस्तै it helps us create a lot of tension, so from which we can rebound off the hole during a squat. So these are neoprene knee sleeves, 7 millimeters. So in comparison to Inzer, some swear by it that Inzer is better, some swear by it that SBD is still the best. In my personal opinion, मैले एकचोटि चाहिँ युज गरेको छु Inzer. अब Inzer provides more like a knee wrap sort of a feeling. So माथि उभिँदाखेरि चाहिँ it sort of feels loose. But when you start to go into the descent of a squat, then it feels really strong and एकदमै पछाडि पावरले च्यापे जस्तो हुन्छ. And SBD मा चाहिँ के हुन्छ भने it provides a constant compression, like compressive force जुन हुन्छ अनि त्यो तल जाँदा it doesn't over exaggerate, जस्तो छ त्यही constant खालके एउटा प्रेसरमै बिल्ड भएर बसिराख्छ. So for me, I get more confidence when my knees are holding it really hard. So मलाई I just prefer the SBD is better, but it's a personal opinion. opinion for me also it could change. Knee wrap चाहिँ अब सुरुमा लाउँदा पनि टाइट हुन्छ, तल झनै टाइट हुन्छ नि त. So I think knee wrap को सुरुको फिलिङ मन पर्छ भने चाहिँ SBD is better. Knee wrap को तलको फिलिङ मन पर्छ भने चाहिँ अघिको injured I like SBD is better. But yeah, generally knee wraps, knee sleeves not a really effective necessary tool for general fitness purpose, but powerlifting ko lai this is it. Alright, last one for today, and this is a tool which is important, right? Especially हामीले bodybuilding haru गर्दाखेरि when we're training with a lot of volume, it's important because हाम्रो hand ko space, हाम्रो hand ko grip runs out of the amount of work it can do, opposed to हाम्रो back, हाम्रो glutes, हाम्रो traps are really strong muscles, हैन? So हाम्रो हातले भन्दा पहिला हाम्रो gripले give up गर्छ. So we need the use of some straps. So straps are basically pretty straightforward. तर अब straps हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ अब depending on what you're needing it for. So let's say हामी powerlifting गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ we want something that's smooth like this, silky हुन्छ नि. यो भयो भने चाहिँ then it's easier to roll it around the barbell because हामीले chalk पनि हातमा apply गरेको हुन्छ. And this is also a very good one. So यो दुईटाको main काम चाहिँ त्यो हो. But let's say if you don't have powerlifting needs and we're mostly using it for machine use, then त्यो grip भएको अलिकति more कपडा जस्तो feel हुने wrist strapहरू हुन्छ, we can use those wrist straps. तर function चाहिँ same हो, but especially अब powerlifting गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ since we're lifting hundreds, 200, 300 kgs and doing it for many reps, so durability of the strap is quite important. So त्यो गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ I would मैले चलाएको यो दुईटा हो, and I think these are the best ones because we also see it used by many individuals. तर स्ट्र्यापमा चाहिँ त्यस्तो ब्रान्डेड र अफ ब्रान्डमा you can't really tell the difference, just that these will not break. यो ब्रेक भयो भने पनि बिस्तारै एउटा धागो गर्दै जान्छ, अनि obviously यति बाँकी हुँदाखेरि त then you're gonna replace it. तर अब त्यो अर्को कपडाको wrist strap चाहिँ it could just pop off sometimes, so that could be a bit of a risk, but whatever works for you, straps are straps. Orco type is a Versa grip, which we don't have it here. I had it, I lost it पहिला थियो, but the main purpose of Versa grip चाहिँ same हो function, तर त्यसले चाहिँ एकैचोटि हुक गर्नु सजिलो हुन्छ के, टक्क हाल्यो, so pretty much हाल्यो अनि one roll मै टक्क बार समात्नु मिल्छ. तर Versa grip को disadvantage चाहिँ is that once the velcro starts to wear out, then the grip weaker हुँदै जान्छ. So and when we're doing 300 kgs, 250 kgs, 255 kgs for reps, then it's not the strongest, but and also it's very expensive, so it's a trade-off that you have to keep in mind. And finally, this is something we have been testing it out. This is a figure 8 strap. So यसको main purpose भने चाहिँ this is the strongest grip that you can get. अब machine it doesn't make sense to use this, but when you're doing like a really heavy deadlift or maybe even shrugs, यो strap चाहिँ काम लाग्छ because it's not going to slip out of hand regardless of what it is, unless your joint नै निस्केर गयो भने मात्रै हो. तर this is like the strongest wrist strap that you can get, but I wouldn't recommend this because it also changes the mechanics of the lift by a little bit. So this is all about straps. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope it helped you. We tried to talk in depth about each and every categories, and if you still have any more questions, you can leave them down in the comments down below. And if you have more questions, then you can reach out to us on our Instagram page, where you can also DM us for coaching. And we also have our website oxstrengthsystem.com, in which we sell tons of templates, accessories, supplements, and basically everything you need in order to reach your fitness goals. We have nutrition plans, training plans, both combined, and everything related to fitness. For now, thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you want to hear from us next, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.